and welcome back to Next Stitch Designs with me, Sylvia. In today's video, I am going to show you how to crochet this very easy twist hat. So for today's hat, I will be using this paint box Simply Chunky yarn, and for this yarn I will be using 5.5 millimeters hook, and this hat will have a little brim like this, so only small one. If you want a longer one, you will have to add more chains to your starting chain to have a bigger brim. So when you fold it, it will go like this. So this one was done with the chunky yarn and 5.5 millimeters hook. I also made one with the Aran yarn and 5 millimeters hook, and I started with the same amount of chain as the one done with the chunky yarn, but as you can see, this one is much smaller, so you will have this hat without the brim and also tighter one if you use thinner yarn like Aran and also smaller hook like 5 millimeters hook. So we'll be using 5.5 or 5 millimeters hook. You will need a yarn needle, some stitch markers, a tape measure and a pair of scissors. And also very handy, these pegs. So next I am going to give you the measurements. So for this one with the chunky yarn and 5.5 millimeters hook, the measurements are 24 centimeters, or in inches it will be about 9.5 inches. And you will have small brim. Also for this one, which is much smaller, which I done with Aran yarn and 5 millimeters hook, this will be about 22.5 centimeters or 9 inches. So smaller and without the brim. And we're going to start with the starting chain right here. So for me, I started with 30 and then I added one more and I will have small brim. So if you want this folding longer to have bigger brim, then you can add about 5 more chains to your starting chain to have larger brim. So I will be using paint box Simply Chunky yarn for this brown color, because with this orange one it was a bit tricky to see on the camera. So now as you can see, once I fold it like this, I will have a short brim for this chunky yarn and 5.5 millimeters hook, and my starting chain for this size is 30 plus 1. So if you want larger brim like this, you will simply add 4 or 5 more chains to your starting chain. So first we are going to start with the slip knot. Hold your yarn and like so, wrap it around your 2 fingers and create a cross. Go under this first one, on top of the second one, pull it down and twist your hook and release. And this is your slip knot. Next, I am going to chain 30 plus 1. So the 1 will be my turning chain. If you want larger brim, then you can add 4 or 5. It's totally up to you. And this head will fit sizes S, M, L and XL. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and so on. So continue chaining like so. So for this first row, once you have your chain, you will add one more and you will start single crochet into this second chain from the hook. And into this second chain from the hook, we will insert our hook like so. Yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through, and this is your very first single crochet. And we will work like so in every chain across, and you can place a stitch marker if you are a beginner, so you know where is your very first stitch, like this. So now you will work single crochet in every chain all the way across, and now you should have 30 stitches. So continue like so all the way down to your very last stitch. So I am here at the end of this row 1 and I am going to place my last single crochet here, and now I should have 30 single crochet. Chain 1 and turn your work for row 2. Now we are going to work single crochet back loop only from now on. So we have this chain of 1, it doesn't count, and then we have front loop here and back loop, and we will be working single crochet back loop only under these loops right here. So we're skipping the chain 1 and we will be working single crochet back loop only all the way across. So insert your hook like so into the back loop only, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through 2, and this is your very first single crochet back loop only. And you will be working like so, single crochet back loop only all the way across until you have only last 2 stitches left. Once you have only last 2 stitches left at the end of this row 2, then I show you what to do next. So now I am at the end of this row 2, and as you can see I have 3 stitches left here, 1, 2 and 3. So I will need to do one more single crochet back loop only, and now I have 2 stitches left at the end. So this one and this one. And we will not work into those, we will simply ignore them. We will chain 1 and we will turn our work. And now we are ready to start row 3. So we skip the chain 1 right here and we will work single crochet back loop only for this row 3 like so. And for this row 3 we will work all the way across, and we should have 28 stitches. And in this row 3 we will work all the way to the end. Once you get to the end, as you can see here, we will work single crochet back loop only here, single crochet back loop only here, and into the last stage you will always work under the full stitch like so. So it will make your edge really nice and strong and really neat. So this last stitch, as you can see, I have front loop and back loop. I will work single crochet under the full stitch for this row 3. Now we are going to chain 1 and we are going to turn our work, so we are ready to start row 4. For this row 4, again we will skip chain of 1 and we will work single crochet back loop only like so. Once you are at the end of this row 4, you will leave 2 unworked stitches at the end. So I am here at the end of row 4, and as you can see I have 1, 2, 3 stitches left. So I will do single crochet back loop only here, and I will have 2 stitches left. I will ignore them again. I will chain 1, and I am ready to turn my work. So in this row you will have 26 stitches. Now this will be the brim part of our head, and this will be the decreases on top of our head. So we will work on our decreases here, and then once we have 12 rows, so let's just see. So this was our starting chain here, and then we will work decreases like so until we have 12 rows. Once we have 12 rows, we will collect our stitches here at the top, and then we will start to work on the next panel. So we will have 5 panels. So we will be decreasing like so, and we will have 12 rows, and every other row will have 2 stitches left. So we started with 30, then we will have 28, 26, every other row like so. So now we are in row 5, we chain 1, and we are going to work single crochet back loop only, and we are going to ignore this chain of 1, and we will simply work all the way down, and you should have 20 stitches in this row 5, and we will work all the way down to your very last stitch. Once you get to your very last stitch, you will finish under the full stitch like so. So front loop and back loop like this. Chain 1 and turn your work. And now we are ready to start row 6. Ignore chain of 1 and start to work single crochet back loop only. But in this row 6, you will leave 2 unworked stitches at the end. So do not work into those very last stitches. Here, your last stitch will be here for this row 6. So now I have 3 stitches here at the end, and I should have 24 stitches, and I am going to leave these 2 unworked stitches at the end. So simply just ignore them. So I have 24 stitches in this row 6. Chain 1, turn your work, and we are ready to start row 7. For this row 7, again you will ignore chain of 1, you will work single crochet back loop only, and you will work all the way down to your very last stitch. Once you get to your very last stitch, you will have 24 stitches, and you will work under the full stitch into your last stitch for this row 7. And I am here at the end of row 7, and as you can see, I have lost 2 stitches, and we already know for this row 7 we will have to work all the way down to your very last stitch. Once you get to your very last stitch, you will work under the full stitch. Chain 1 and turn your work. Now we are ready to start a row 8. In row 8, you will leave 2 unworked stitches at the end, and you should have 22 stitches in this row 8. So skip chain 1 and work single crochet back loop only all the way across like so, until you have only 2 stitches left at the end of this row 8. So last 2 stitches left here, just ignore them, chain 1 and turn your work. Now for row 9, we are going to work single crochet back loop only until you get to your very last stitch, and you will place your very last stitch under the full stitch, and in this row 9 you should have 22 stitches. And I am finishing row 9, and I will place my very last stitch under the full stitch like so, chain 1 and turn our work. Now for row 10, again you will leave 2 unworked stitches at the end, and you should have 20 stitches. So skip chain 1 and work single crochet back loop only all the way across until you have only 2 stitches left. And I am finishing this row 10, and as you can see I have 2 stitches left here. You will simply ignore it, chain 1 and turn your work like so. And that's what we have so far. Now chain 1 right here and start row 11. Of course, we already know we're skipping the chain 1 and we are working single crochet back loop only all the way across. In this row 11 we should have 20 stitches, and we are working all the way down to your very last stitch. Into your very last stitch you will work under the full stitch. So I am finishing here, and I have one last stitch here, so I will work under the full stitch, chain 1 and turn my work. Now for row 12 we will do something different. For row 12 we will work all the way down, and we are done with decreasing, so we should still have only 20 stitches left here. So now we are going to count the rows. We should have 12. So when they go like this, it means 2 rows. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. And we will finish this last row here. But this last row 12, we will work all the way down. So we chain 1 here. We will work single crochet back loop only like so. And we will work all the way to this very end. And we should still have 20 stitches for this row 12. Like so. So now I am at the end, and I will work single crochet back loop only here for this row 12, and I will work into this very last stitch under the full stitch. Like so. So now we are done with decreases. We have 20 stitches right here. So we were decreasing every other row by 2. Now we are going to collect those loops at the top here, and we will finish our very first panel. So now we are done with the decreases, and we finished right here. So now we will collect those loops on the side or at the top of our head. So we will work into those tiny loops here. As you have 2 rows, and then there is the loop like so, as you can see. And we will work into those loops like so. Here, here. So we are here, and now we can start to work on those loops. Insert your hook like so. Now, as you remember, we had always 2 stitches, so we will work under the back loop like so, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the middle loop like this. Now you have 2 loops. Now we are going to yarn over and pull through both loops like so. Then we will work into the next full stitch like so, the one at the end like so. Simply work single crochet. So we had 2 stitches created. So we had 1 and 2. And again, we will find that tiny loop again, like so. So this little one right here. Then we will find the next stitch, which we had 2. So the closer one to you, like so, yarn over, pull through and pull through the middle one again, like this. 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2. Into the next stitch, the one at the end, work single crochet. And again, we collected another 2 stitches. Again, find the small loop, like so. Then the next stitch, but under the full stitch, yarn over, pull through and pull through the middle stitch, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Work single crochet into the last stitch. Again, find a tiny loop, place it on your hook. It's always the trickiest one, this little one. Again, find the stitch under the back loop, yarn over, pull through and pull through the middle stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, like so. Again, work single crochet into that last stitch. Again, find the tiny loop, place it on your hook, like so. Again, work under the back loop, like this, yarn over, pull through and pull through the loop in the middle, yarn over and finish. And where is your stitch marker? You will place your very last single crochet under the both loops, like so. And you collected 10 stitches all together right here. So we had 20 stitches here, and then we collected 10 stitches right here. So altogether we should have 30 stitches. And now here, as you can see, this last loop, we are not going to work into the one. So we are not working right here. Do not work there. I just want to show you. So now we are going to chain 1, like so. We are going to turn our work, and we are going to work single crochet all the way down, and we should have 30 single crochet all the way down to this very last stitch. So ignore the chain of 1 and work under the both loops. So ignore the chain 1 and work single crochet as normal. So normal single crochet under the both loops all the way across. And don't forget to count your stitches. It's important to have 30 stitches all the way across. And I am finishing here, and I should have 30 stitches all the way from the top, like so. And we created our first panel out of 5 panels altogether. So now, as you can see, we will work 5 panels altogether for our head, and each panel will have 12 rows. So you will simply repeat what we just did for those 12 rows, and then you will collect those loops, and you will do so 5 times. And once we have those 5 panels, we can close our head. So as you can see, our first panel is created. Then we done last row of single crochet. So we will simply going to chain one, and I am going to show you how to start the second panel, and then you will simply just repeat this. Altogether you should have 5 panels. So this last chain we have done, which was 30 single crochet, we basically will have our starting chain and a row 1 of single crochet. So now once you have done your single crochet row, which was your last one, when we went all the way back, we should have 30 stitches. So that row will count as your first row for second panel. So now you will simply chain one and work single crochet back loop only all the way down, and you will simply start to decrease. So you're working on second row already. So you will work until you have only 2 stitches left at the end. So basically, once we have done all those 12 rows and then we went all the way back with the single crochet row, that was basically our first row for the second panel. So now we will work on the second row and we will work single crochet back loop only until we have only 2 stitches left. So we are working on the second row of second panel straight away. So now I have only 2 stitches left here, and I will simply ignore them, chain 1, as you can see here. So this was my second row, just to show you, so you know what do I mean when I said second row of your second panel. So chain 1 and turn your work, and now you will simply repeat. So you will work the same way as we did on our first panel. So you will be decreasing every second row. So for this row 3, you will work all the way back to very end. Once you reach your last stitch, you will work under the full stitch, and so on. So you will simply repeat what we did for our first panel. You will be decreasing every other row. So now I am finishing here. I will work under the full stitch, chain 1 and turn my work. And now you will know the next row you will again leave those 2 stitches and work, and so on. So you will be working like so on your head until you have all 5 panels completed. Once you have your all 5 panels completed, we will close our head. So remember, each panel will have 12 rows. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and so on. So make 5 panels all together for your head. So once you have all your 5 panels, we are ready to close our head. So just leave it like this, and now we are going to match those loops, which you should have 30, with the loops on the other end. So we have proper stitches here, but on the other end we will have only loops. So just place it like so and try to match loops closer to you and stitches on the opposite side like so. So we can create our seam. If you have pegs like me, you can use them. You can also use normal pegs, the big ones if you like, because the pins won't stay in, and these pegs are so useful. They will keep your project together nicely. So I will place one here and maybe one here. So when I create the seam, it won't move as much. Now you will have 2 options how to do this last seam. You can Leave a long yarn end about 30 centimeters, and you can use your yarn needle and start to create the seam from here all the way down, or you can do it the way I will create the seam with the hook. So you have two options and you can choose whichever way you prefer, with the needle or with the hook. Then once you create the seam, you will simply close the gap at the top. So I am going to work with my hook. So where is the loop here? I will insert my hook from the side closer to you, and from the opposite side I will place the loop on my hook like so and pull through. Now chain 1. Turn your head like this, so the side where our proper stitch is closer to you, as you can see here. Now find the very first stitch and the loop on the opposite side and try to match it as good as you can, like so. Again, find the stitch closer to you and the loop on the opposite side and work single crochet. And you will work like so all the way down. So loop and the stitch should match. So stitch and loop, as you can see here, and work single crochet. So you will work like so all the way down and try to match it like so. And I am finishing here, and I have 2 stitches and 2 loops, as you can see here, and my last stitch here and my last loop there, like so. So now I am going to show you what we created. So we have this last seam, which looks like all those ridges we had when we were creating single crochet back loop only. So I think it looks amazing. So either way, you can use this side as your right side or the other side as your right side, because the both sides looking amazing. So it's totally up to you which side you prefer to be your right side. So that's the side here and side here, as you can see the seam. So now we are going to chain 1 like so. Leave the long yarn end or a little bit longer so you can hide it later on, like so, and fasten off. So we are going to hide this end and this end. So we will try to hide it inside the seam we have just created, both of them. And then we will sew this gap at the top. So first I am going to sew this gap. So before we do so, we are going to decide which side is going to be our right side. So for me, I decided that this side will be my right side. So I will turn my head wrong side so I can sew and close this gap. So now I am on the wrong side of my head, and I have about 30 centimeters long yarn, and I will simply thread my yarn needle and I will create knot at the end. And now we are ready to sew the gap. So first I will simply just insert my needle and I will thread it all the way around like this. Just simply go around the gap like so and pull it a little bit and then continue. So you will just create large stitches all the way around the gap like so until you come to the starting point. So now you can go one more time if you like. And now I will simply just pull this end so the gap is closed. And now I want to secure it. So you can hold it like this or you can hold it like so. I think this is easier way. And then you will simply go across like so and place few stitches like so to completely close the gap at the top of your head. So you can go this way and this way, like this. And maybe a few more stitches just to make sure it's closed completely. So just simply go across. So there is no gap at all. So simply just do your best so you won't have gap at the top of your head. Once you are done, we are going to fasten off. So I will leave loop like this and I will thread it once and twice and make it nice and tight. And then simply hide it so you won't have any end. So just simply choose one row like this and just hide it there. So when you wash your head, you won't have any unfinished ends sticking out. So cut it off, and then we are going to hide those two ends. So now I'm going to turn my head to show you the gap is completely closed. So let's just hide these two ends inside the seam right here. And this is it. This is our beautiful head completed. I think it looks amazing. You can make it in any size with aran or chunky yarn, and it's looking amazing in every color as well. I think you're gonna enjoy this tutorial very much because it's very easy, and actually it's very easy and fast, this head. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, please don't forget to like it, share it, and of course don't forget to subscribe to my channel Unique Stitch Designs for more ideas from me, Sylvia. And please don't forget to find me on social medias. I am on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and TikTok. Thank you very much for watching.